Neat. Did you get your boat yet?
Oh yeah, no, I've had it since February.
Oh,
Did you see? I know. I assume you read the New York Times, knowing you. There was a great article. Clay Thompson owns the same boat as me,
nice.
and there was this amazing article about how much he's fallen in love with his boat in the New York Times on Sunday.
Perfect.
It was really cool.
You know, I can say I do read it, but I read it number one on my phone usually.
Yeah.
And I don't read all of it. You know, what can I say?
Yeah, no, it's really hard. You know, I read it on the phone too, and you miss things because like you just don't. It's like a list of articles. You have like no idea what you're looking at. You know?
Yeah, I much prefer the idea of flipping through a paper personally.
Here, I'll send it to you. It's really fun.
That'd be great because it looked amazing.
It's a great boat. I love this boat.
I trust you survived our storms the other day.
You know, I trust the boat so much I haven't even checked. But I have it attached with 7 lines. I mean, like only the Queen Elizabeth has more than 7 lines.
Wow.
So.
I've been on that boat. Well, her old boat, not the QE2, not that one. The Royal Yacht. It's pretty cool.
Hello.
Michael?
Hi.
Hey, Mike.
How are you?
How is everybody?
Excellent, thank you.
Good. Title is Clay Thompson finally found love with his boat.
Hey.
So we're just missing John, I guess.
Yeah.
So Director Jex has reported to the closed session.
Oh, so why don't we do this instead of getting him on this and going over, let's just take care of the perfunctory stuff here and go on to the real thing. So I'll call the meeting to order. Welcome to the Moraga-Orinda Fire District Special Board Meeting for October 27th, 2021. The 6 p.m. closed session followed by a 7 p.m. open session. The opening ceremonies will call the meeting to order. And Marcia, if you could do a roll call, please.
Director Bates?
Here.
Director Danziger?
Here.
Director Donner?
Here.
And President Jorgens?
Here. And we should just note that Director Jex is already in the closed session meeting, and at least he's in that meeting. Okay. Do we have what's on our next thing then? So open item 2.0 for public comment. Are there any comments on the closed agenda items 3.1 through 3.3?
We do not have any attendees, and we have not received any written public comment.
Okay, so I will close the public comment period on items 3.1 through 3.3. And then we can adjourn to the closed session, and the open session will begin again at 7 p.m. on this same channel.
We'll see you on the other side.
Okay, bye.
Okay, it is 7 o'clock and we have John and Steve and Michael and Bates. So I guess we're all here. So it's 7 o'clock. Let's call the meeting back to order. And Marcia, if you can take the roll call again, please.
Bates,
Here.
Director Dan,
Here.
Director Donner,
Here.
Director Jex,
Here.
President Jorgens.
Here. Okay, there is nothing to report from the closed session items 3.1 through 3.3. And we will go on. We're now on special agenda item 6.1, the approval of a memorandum of understanding between the district and United Professional Firefighters of Contra Costa County, IAFF Local 1230 AFL-CIO for the period July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2024. Approval of salary schedule effective July 1st, 2021. Approval of fiscal year 2022 general fund expenditure budget adjustment. So with all that, I'll turn it over to, I guess, either the chief or to Donna to give us a brief presentation about this.
Good evening, directors, Chief Winokur. My name is Donna Williamson. I'm a partner with the law firm of Liebert Cassidy Whitmore, and I was the chief negotiator in these negotiations. I will be presenting the staff report this evening. So,
Welcome, Ms. Williamson.
thank you. So our agenda this evening is to review the legal obligations under the Myers-Milius-Brown Act, which is the law that governs this process. We will have an overview of the 2020-2021 IAFF negotiations. We will review the key issues in these negotiations, review the key provisions of the tentative agreement and MOU changes. We will also discuss the legal process following reaching a tentative agreement and overview of your open session process. So the legal requirements in these negotiations, the district is governed by the Myers-Milius-Brown Act, commonly known as the MMBA. The MMBA requires good faith negotiations between the parties, which requires that the parties are either required to reach agreement in negotiations or go to the point of an impasse in negotiations and go through the impasse procedures. In this case, the parties negotiated to an agreement which was reached on October 14th, 2021. The overview of the process includes an initial planning process. Closed session meetings were held to review data, the history of negotiations, and provide initial direction in bargaining. We had labor negotiations across the table, which included 12 negotiating meetings between December 2020 and October of 2021. We also engaged in 1 day of mediation, which was pre-impasse mediation. We had several closed sessions. The board was regularly updated in 18 closed sessions during these negotiations while negotiations and mediation were occurring. The key bargaining issues in these negotiations were wages, medical benefits for current employees, and retiree medical benefits. The key provisions of the tentative agreement and MOU changes include, first of all, a term of 3 years, which expires on June 30th, 2024. The wage agreement includes a wage increase in each year, 4% in the first year, 4% in the second year, and 5% in the third year of the agreement. The negotiations on medical benefits for current employees included bringing the district's monthly contribution to the equivalent of 93% of the Kaiser rate, which includes for employee-only coverage, $798 per month. The employee plus one coverage is $1,595, and the employee plus family coverage is $2,073. In addition, we negotiated retiree medical benefits to have a $100 district contribution to a retiree health savings account. The financial costs are provided here. And you can see that there's a projected additional cost in each year of the agreement for the projected cumulative total cost of $4,260,693. The legal requirements following a tentative agreement, there's a process that is required. The first step is that the union votes to ratify the agreement. The updated MOU is prepared and approved by the union. The updated MOU is presented in an open session meeting of the board, which is what we're doing this evening. And Government Code Section 3505.1 requires that the tentative agreement must be voted on by the board within 30 days of the initial presentation to the board. Our open session process includes the IAFF Local 1230's membership ratifying the agreement, which they ratified on October 14th, 2021. Tonight, the board is holding this public hearing to discuss the tentative agreement and vote on its adoption. The terms of this agreement were the result of lengthy good faith negotiations between the parties, which resulted in a mutual agreement on the tentative agreement.
Okay. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Board members have any questions?
I have one question. I was just kind of curious. When Local 1230 took their vote to approve the tentative agreement, do you know, is that just a majority vote, or how does that part work? Just kind of curious.
I mean, typically it's a majority of those voting, but their voting process is governed by their bylaws, which are their bylaws, and we're not party to those bylaws.
And we don't get to know what the vote was at all, right?
They just reported that it was approved. Sometimes those details are reported out, but in this case, that was not reported to me.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions by the board for Donna? Okay, failing that, I will open this to public comment for items 6.1.
Do not have any hands raised, and we have not received any written public comment.
Okay, I will close the public comment on that item. And now we can open that up to board deliberation.
President Jorgens, this is Director Danziger. I just have something I wanted to say about the negotiations. Okay, we good?
Yeah, please. Yeah,
All right. So, negotiations with labor groups is often an arduous process. And as Donna talked about, these negotiations began in December 2020, and it took about 12 months. And she went through the stats of how many meetings, how many closed sessions we had. During these negotiations, we're going to vote on a tentative agreement tonight. And I'd like to say, I don't think there's any winners or losers. I think it's a win-win. And the negotiations were lengthy, made in good faith, and resulted in a mutual agreement. Every day that they come to work, the men and women of MOFD are dedicated to ensure the highest quality of service to the district. They take pride in being part of MOFD and protecting our safety. We have 5 stations in our district that cover an area of about 42 square miles, including significant WUI area, WUI zone, population of about 40,000, including 20% of our population over 65. Approximately 13,000 housing units, 12 schools. There is Highway 24 we respond to. There's BART. There's East Bay Mudland, East Bay Regional Parks. There's the tunnel. And there's an unincorporated area of Canyon with no public water supplies available for water hydrants. With the equity adjustments provided for in the previous contract, the total pay increases in this contract are exactly the same. Neighboring jurisdictions have contracts in place that are equal or more to what is proposed here. Our firefighters deserve this new contract. And if the district wants to retain our firefighters and ensure the continuation of the high level of service provided, I'm urging us all to approve this tonight. Our firefighters have had an extremely difficult year during the pandemic, as many of us have. Numerous sworn members have contracted COVID. Thankfully, none severe, and all have recovered. But the pandemic continues. We've had more fires and accidents in the district, including citizen fatalities. Accidents on Highway 24 and during a prescribed burn put firefighters at extreme risk. Our firefighters have been deployed to major fire incidents throughout Northern California, as well as assisting in the state COVID response. Unbelievably to me, during fiscal year 2021, strike team hours totaled 25,000 hours. And so far in fiscal year 2022, the total is 9,884 hours. All this while continuing to do training and provide service to our district. Several months ago, an item before the board caused quite a stir in the community. The positive takeaway for me was the outpouring of support and praise for our firefighters and the services provided by MOFD. I believe there was a strong message from the community not to mess with what we have. I think we all felt the passion and the love that our citizens have for MOFD. There are improvements that we can make, and the board will be striving to do this. We're going to look at increasing fire prevention programs, possibly replacing Station 41 that was built in 1967 and it's in poor condition. We hope to bring Station 45 up to a modern standard. And we're going to be reviewing requirements for actually becoming an MOFD firefighter and more. 2022 will be the 25th anniversary of the creation of MOFD. I'm asking my fellow board members to join me in celebrating our incredible district and the men and women that serve, and vote to approve this new labor agreement. I hope we can show the community that we're unified and we support our firefighters who keep us safe every day. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other board members have anything they want to say?
I'd like to say well said, Director Danziger.
Thank you.
Okay. Director Bates, Director Jex.
Very well said. If we need a motion to approve, I'll make a motion to approve.
Well, we're not quite at that point yet. Sorry. Director Jex, you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, I have some difficulty with the recommendation because of the impact on the have on the long-term forecast as commented in the thing. The additional expenditure of $4,260,000 in salaries and retirement benefit and payroll costs associated with it. Basically for two reasons. Number one, it'll reverse all of the gains we've made in our general fund balance policy or objective of trying to reach 50%. We're finally up to 43%, but it'll reverse all of that. And in the next 6 years, we will never reach the 50% target. In fact, it will reduce that general reserve fund balance in the long range forecast down to, into the 20s, which is totally inadequate to fund the district's operations and the risks associated with it. Also, the impact on the cash flow, which is critical to the success of any organization. One example is that our pension plan expenditure in excess of $5 million was out in the first month. That's 20% of our total expenditures for the year. It requires a strong organization physically or fiscally in order to be able to have the cash flow to fund expenditures of that magnitude that don't occur 1/12 every month for 12 months. The other thing that it basically is talked about, and I think alluded to, the deployments. Those deployments certainly are great training opportunities. I think it's been done great for the district, totally supportive, but it also requires that we fund those. And then we have to recover that receivable from the state, and they don't always necessarily pay the next month. We had at the end, not long ago, about $900,000 that was still unpaid. It was expected to go up into the several million or $1.5 million before it was over. In order to do that, that takes cash, and it doesn't come out the same, again, as I on a prorated basis. The other thing that it basically puts in jeopardy, in my view, is our ability to manage and fund in the same manner the $7 million plus grant that we received. The grants that we've received are great, the North-Orinda school break, but we had to pay for that and then wait for the state to reimburse us. If you don't have adequate cash to do that, it forces the district during part of the year, particularly in the first 6 months of our fiscal year, to end up having to borrow money from the county. That's not a strong district. And in order to borrow money from the county, it requires that we pay out all of the cash balances, including the balances that are in the fund for capital. And that's $4 million. So when you talk about all of the projects that we have pending, and we're talking about liquidating that balance periodically, if we maintain it at that level, or have the money available to do it, you can't do it. So for that reason, I have a real difficult time approving the agreement.
Okay, thank you. So I guess I'll go last. So I was elected to represent all of the interests of the citizens of Orinda and Moraga. Those voters have multiple priorities for Mofd, and they include, of course, keeping the best firefighters and EMS personnel that we can possibly get when we have terrific firefighters and EMS personnel. But it also includes investing significant money on fire prevention and fuel reduction and fuel abatement, developing and utilizing technology for early fire detection, prevention, and evacuations, and maintaining safe and reliable fire stations throughout the district. While I supported a reasonable salary increase in this negotiation, the total cost of the proposed contract will now preclude sufficient funding for emergency preparedness and prevention that our community needs and wants, and will delay the replacement of Station 41 in the heart of Moraga. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that, you know, there are multiple things that we have to prioritize and choose between. And I guess that probably ends the board deliberations. Do I hear any motions?
You know, before we do that, you know, what our firefighters, the salary that they take home is predicated on a lot of factors, including what, you know, other districts are getting in our surrounding area. I mean, I hear both of your concerns, and, you know, I don't think these negotiations and the agreement that we're going to reach tonight was easy. I think, you know, any of us would certainly have said, you know, too much, we have other things to do. It's true, but, you know, when all is said and done, we need to pay them equitable to other districts. And, you know, you know, I did mention before that retention is a big factor here. Just, you know, just last year, we lost a former firefighter of the year here who went to a neighboring district, and a lot of that was because of pay. So now we're pretty much equal with the surrounding, with another district close by, and it, you know, it's a matter of the right thing to do for our firefighters. And I think, you know, though I totally understand where both of you are coming from. I think we need to step up and support them and improve this.
So do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the district and United Professional Firefighters, Contra Costa County Local 1230. That's before us tonight.
I'll second.
Okay, Marcia, you want to take a roll call vote?
Director Bates,
Yes.
Director Danziger,
Aye.
Director Donner,
Yes.
Director Jex,
No.
President Jorgens.
No. So the motion passes. We've approved item 6.1. The second part of it is what we're going to do with the general fund expenditure budget adjustment, which is probably should have been a separate item, by the way, but because there wasn't a proposal that we talked about that yet. Chief, do you have I think you had something written up about this, Chief.
Good evening, directors. As mentioned, there are the recommended action. Staff recommends approval of the memorandum and approval of the salary schedule effective July 1, 2021. And with regard to a general fund expenditure budget adjustment, there are three options listed above. Option 1 would be to increase the general fund expenditure appropriation 729,706. This will result in general fund budget surplus of 14,488. Option 2 is to increase the general fund expenditure appropriations 619,706. This is to account for the 5 vacant authorized positions that we currently have. This will result in a general fund budget surplus of 124,488. Or option 3, do not approve a budget adjustment at this time. Wait for the mid-year budget review, which will occur in February 2022. There are no negative impacts to waiting to make a budget adjustment until the mid-year in February, but I certainly defer to the board with regard to how to proceed.
Does the board have any questions for the chief?
No.
Any deliberation about which flavor we think we should do?
I'd be in favor of deferring our decision to mid-year.
Any other opinions about that?
Agreed.
I agree. I see no harm in waiting until mid-year. when we did it. I think we did it like mid-year last year.
Okay. Director Donner, I don't want to jump in front of you if you want to say something.
No, I'm in agreement with
Okay.
the other board members that waiting till mid-year is fine.
I am too. So is this something we're supposed to vote on, Chief, or just give you guidance, I think, right?
Guidance is all I needed, sir.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, now we move on to item 6.2, approval of salary schedule for unrepresented employees effective July 1st, 2021.
Good evening, directors. Historically, district employees receive annual salary increases. The district has employee classifications that are unrepresented and not covered by a memorandum of understanding or separate employment contracts. The last salary increase for these unrepresented employees was 2% effective July 1st, 2021. I recommend unrepresented employees receive an additional 2% salary increase effective July 1st, 2021 to make the total July 1st, 2021 salary increase 4%. Salary schedule has been updated to reflect total salary increase in attachment A at 4%. The fiscal impact total cost in FY22 of an additional 2% salary increase is $28,430. I recommend the board discuss, deliberate, and approve the updated unrepresented employee salary schedule.
Okay, so does the board have any questions for the chief about that? If not, I'll open it up to public comment. Marcia, do we have any?
No, we do not have any hands raised, and we've not received any written public comment.
Okay, I'll close the public comment on that then. So do we hear any deliberation on that?
Well, just, yeah, I would just make the statement that the chief didn't go over this, and we've talked about it in the past, but that these unrepresented employees formally were represented by a labor agreement, and they chose to get out of that labor group, and so now they're unrepresented, and I think giving them the increase is the right thing to do.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments, questions, deliberation? Do I hear a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the salary schedule for unrepresented employees effective July 1st, 2021.
I'll second.
Okay. Marcia, you want to take a roll call?
Director Bates,
Aye.
Director Danziger,
Aye.
Director Donner,
Aye.
Director Jex,
No.
President Jorgens.
No. Okay, the motion passes. Item 6.2, approval of the salary schedule for unrepresented employees effective July 1st, 2021. And I guess that looks like it's the last thing that's on our agenda for tonight.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Marcia?
Director Bates,
Aye.
Director Danziger,
Aye.
Director Donner,
Aye.
Director Jex,
Aye.
President Jorgens.
Aye.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Aye.
Aye.